Anyway, welcome to Loopholes and Lockouts, everybody. I hope we're all feeling good, hosts and viewers alike. Today, we'll just be rolling through team lists as per. Got our Physio Files eventually, trades and captains and panic trades, panic sells. But then in between all of that, not sure of the order yet, but we're going to roll through our general strategy for Origin. And a couple players we're going to be looking to target at certain areas. Just a nice little fluid segment of us just chatting about how we're going to try and approach that period to try to either, hold rank, make rank, just have a general chat about it. So hopefully you'll get keen for that, lads. And then, let's just roll into the team list and just see how the episode progresses, eh?
Let's roll into the team list. Okay, Bulldogs versus Cowboys, Friday, 6 p.m. For the Cowboys, Murray Taulagi drops out with concussion. Zach Laybutt comes onto the wing. For the Bulldogs, Anari Chihuahua comes in on the wing for Marcelo Montoya, and Jonathan Sewer keeps his spot on the wing. Other big news with Viliame Kikau's injury. Sitili Tupanua looks like he's locked down that second row position. And interestingly, I'm hearing Sitili's going to play on the right, Jacob Preston on the left.
I've heard those whispers as well. Yeah.
Does that make either any more appealing to anyone?
Well, I saw a stat that Jacob Preston's average while being on the left, mind you, most of his games were in 2023 and 2025, which is pre-Galvin, but his average is about 77.8 or something like that on the left. So people say wheels up, but I'd like to see it first. But yeah, honestly, it probably makes me more hot and heavy for Sitili Tupanua. Because I think outside Galvin, that's going to be a good place to be. I had a look at him last night, and I think he's about 490k or something, with about a 70 break even too. So I'm willing to give it a watch. For any sort of downgrades or anything next week, just keep it on the radar. Yeah. I think it's a solid option. Yeah.
That Preston chat, like the stats from Preston there, has Beau Fermor written all over it again, lads. Like, something you got to wait and see. I think. I don't think you can go too off stats because Beau Fermor showed us this year that previous statistics don't really mean anything at certain points. So.
Yeah, I agree, and that's a place I'm trying to grow from because I personally, obviously, I had the Beau Fermor blunder, if you want to call it that, but then also I was looking heavily at Luke Garner a couple of weeks ago, and Ivan's just done Ivan things, and he hasn't got the minutes that we just expected him to flow into in that role. And that's probably another reason why I'm giving Sitili another week to just see how the minutes play out. Because if he can get the minutes, I think he's a solid option. But if not, it's a bit of a plotter play.
Josh Curran, who could easily play on the edge as well. So I don't think it's a set in stone role / 80-minute performance. I think you do have the benefit of waiting a week.
Just quickly as well on Jonathan Sewer, Ben. I know you were kind of looking at him.
Yeah. I'll explain a bit more later, but Kirai's out for 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, they do have outside back cover on the bench, but watching the Marcelo Montoya defensive highlights on TikTok the other day, I don't think there's a chance he'll be back in the team very quickly. So I don't know. He's definitely an option for you. And I think he's already had one price rise, but this will be his big one where his low score drops out. Or maybe it's this week. I can't remember. I think I'm getting confused between Taylor May and him, but... either way, you can definitely get on him if you have a chippy winger like maybe a Tavana or a Moses Leo who isn't playing and you have the benefit of a spare trade, then not the worst upgrade for a couple of weeks.
Well, funnily enough, Tavana's actually playing this week as a late in.
Is that confirmed?
I don't know. I thought it was, but maybe not. Anyway, we'll get there later. But Jonathan Sewer, I think it's a solid option. The Bulldogs are just annoying me lately because they just seem to be really... quiet about their injuries. Like Nari Tuala, what was that, 1 week or 2 weeks or whatever?
Yeah.
With that hamstring, I thought that was going to be a bit longer. Maybe that's just a vibe thing. But then also Kiraz, I feel like they've been kept that quiet behind closed doors, and as they kind of have a right to do. But it just would be nice for the punters if we could just figure out and know what the injury timelines are. And if they don't know, that would be nice to also know.
I agree.
They have finally released it as of yesterday. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I'll speak on that a bit later. But yeah, it's definitely weird. South Sydney doing similar things where they're keeping injury timelines behind doors until the last minute. Just, I don't know. I don't even know why they're doing it as such. Just hurting Supercoach owners.
Oh, well. Such is life. Dolphins versus Melbourne, 8 p.m. Friday night. Jack Bostock has come into the centres. Trey Fuller's dropped onto the bench. He's going to play Queensland Cup this week. Brad Schneider keeps playing 6. I believe Nicarima is still suspended. Hugo Peel comes onto the wing for Waiteri, who drops to the bench. And the real big news of the week, Atavalu Lasati and Sean Bloor are back into the second row together with both Joe Chan and Cooper Clark dropping to the bench. Lasardi is a must.
Yeah, must.
I think just for money grab, even if he doesn't play 80, he's going to make a stack of money.
Yep.
Yeah, the role doesn't matter. It's just money at this point. And I know money's not hard to come by this season, but this feels like the one that if you miss it and he does play 80, this is like the Noah Martin that you're going to want to have out of the cheapies for the origin period, I think. And with the Melbourne going like a busted, I think they're going to look to a Lasardi. I think Chan's fallen out of favour, unfortunately. And then, I don't know, I don't think they were that keen on Bloor anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if Lasardi goes on the right and then Bloor plays on the left. But I guess we'll just see.
No, I think that will be the case. And I do think if anyone's going to get subbed, it'll be Sean Bloor. In my opinion, once Lasardi's fit, maybe not this week, maybe it might be a bit of a Liam Martin situation where they take a couple of weeks to ease him back in. But eventually he's going to go back to playing 80. They're going to use Cooper Clark through the middle, would be my best guess. They really like him, but I think they'll just use him through the middle. They're not going to burn two interchanges, changing both their second rows at once. So, I think there's an 80-minute roll up for grabs, and I think it's Lasardi's to lose at this point.
Yeah, and I did have one. I know we're spending a bit of time on the Dolphins Storm, but I did have a question for both of you. What do you think about the Trey Fuller was in the side on Tuesday? Obviously, we're recording this, and it'll be out on Friday. But what do you think about Trey Fuller being dropped down? And what do you think about that whole situation, I should say?
I'll be honest, it doesn't really surprise me. What I did think they would do, though, is go Bostock wing, Cobbo centre.
And that was going to be my follow-up question for Clarkey, because I know he's... Well, you're not really passionate, but I know you floated Cobbo to the centres a couple times, and I was just interested to see what you thought about the whole... or what you both thought about the whole situation.
Yeah. Bostock scored 3 tries in Q Cup on the weekend, so it's a bit hard to ignore, given he is an out-and-out outside back, whereas Trey Fuller probably more of your fullback, sort of maybe 5'8" sort of player. I think he played really well, though, on the weekend, so I'm a bit surprised they dropped him. The Cobbo situation, if Cobbo does move to centre, I think you gain a bit of value back in him because his ball running is his credit, and if he's going to be ball running out of his end at centre and not having to deal with the high bombs, I think there's a real world that might be a bit of an improvement for him. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a wait and watch. I do think there might be a late change for Cobbo to centre and obviously Bostock on the wing, but we'll wait and see.
Cool. Yeah. If it was me, I think I would have dropped Cobbo completely, but I understand them playing him in the centres. And Trey Fuller's going to get minutes at fullback when Hammer goes to Origin anyway, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's not the end
and
of the world.
And could be really cheap, touching on something Dan mentioned to me earlier, actually. If he
bench.
plays a couple of minutes off the bench, then he could be really cheap.
Yeah.
Cool.
Titans versus the Raiders, 3 p.m. on Saturday. A lot of changes to this Raiders side. We've just got news that Ethan Strange is not going to play this week, so we'd imagine Dane Laurie's going to come into the 6 jersey. Simi Sasungi comes into the back row. Hudson Young still suspended. Noah Martin getting that surgery in both ankles. So Atta Mariota is currently named to start in the second row. Jaden Brayley currently named to start at lock. Ricky's just doing Ricky things with his bench. I reckon it looks completely different by game day. For the Titans, that's right. They were on the bye last week, so we haven't seen them in a while. It looks like a basically unchanged team for the Titans. AJ Brimson back in, I believe he might have missed 1 week, if I'm remembering things correctly.
Yeah, I believe he did.
Yeah.
Any key talking points here?
Cooper Bye on the bench.
Yeah,
so I'll just lead with. I think that was going to be a bit promising for owners when he played 13 last week in big minutes. But that probably kills the dream, right?
Probably.
Looks like they're opting to play Curtis Morin in the starting role instead of Cooper Bye up front. So, interesting player there.
I can't believe that, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
I think this Raiders side looks a little bit vulnerable this week. I think they've already shown some signs from time to time of looking a bit vulnerable in attack, and particularly losing their 2-strike second rowers. Sasungi will do a great job. Adam Mariota used to playing through the middle, probably not going to run as great lines, bigger body, but yeah, I think there's some warning signs. I would expect a Titans upset on this one.
Being a Simi Sasungi owner, Ben, how do you feel about him being in the second row rather than centre?
Been damaged about this before. I think higher floor, lower ceiling. So he's got a great chance to get at least 60. But I don't see him getting that much more than 100. Like, he's not going to get 3 tries or 4 tries or 3 or 4 try involvements. Like, he's probably going to get 1 try max, but he could push 100 with 1 try.
Yeah.
But yes, I do think it's definitely lower ceiling this week.
Yeah, cool. I probably tend to agree. But as long as he's in the side, I think he's going to be fine. So I'm pretty
It
fine.
is definitely a 1 week thing. So Zach Hoskin concussion, Cat 1 week.
I've
2
heard
weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, really?
And then they have the bye, and then it's Origin. So Hudson Young goes, he might just stay in it. He might be in the second row for a long time.
Yeah, true. I don't know.
I reckon at least the next 3 Raiders games.
I mean, with the stats their second rows are pumping out when they were both starting, I'm happy to have Simi Sasaki.
Oh, I think he's fine.
Yeah.
I think you basically nailed it. I think he's just lost some ceiling.
Yeah.
Like he might go from he basically averaged 100 for the last 4 weeks to averaging 85, 90.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still
Yeah.
still extremely good.
Nothing to turn the nose up
Yeah.
at.
Cool. Parramatta versus the Warriors, 5:30 on Saturday. I'm not seeing a ton of changes in either side here. Parramatta keep their pretty weak looking forward pack. I don't think I can see many changes here at all, actually. Adam Pompey comes back in. Oh, yeah, that's right. Luke Metcalf comes onto the bench. We're wondering if that might be a late change to get him into the starting side.
Mitch Barnett swaps straight out for Tanner Smith returning from injury.
Yes. That seems like the only significant thing that I can see.
And then obviously, Luke Metcalf onto the bench. That's about it, really.
Yeah.
I know this might be a bit of a spoiler for captains and whatnot, but I tell you what, if I owned Jackson Ford, I'd give him a hard look this week.
Funny you say that.
We were talking about it before.
We were talking about it before.
Yeah.
Great minds in that.
He is, a little spoiler. I mean, no, it'll be out by the time you see this. Captain's Corner this week. Jackson Ford was put forward as a pod captain.
Hey.
I just don't see how you can turn your nose up at it. He's got, 300s in a row.
Yeah.
So if it was Payne Haas, you'd think you'd probably captain him.
If there's ever a week you can get a try and a try assist or something stupid like that, it's against the weak Eels forward pack.
Yeah.
So.
I will be hate watching to the max.
I think it's a strong week for captains, so I don't know if I will. But, I mean,
it's definitely in the thought.
I definitely could do it 100%.
I think it's a bit of fool's gold week for captains this week. I think for me, probably looking around a VC on Herbie or something in and around that. But then I think that Trell against Newcastle looks good, but I think that's a little bit of fool's gold there. I think he could get 60 to 80. And then obviously Nathan Cleary looks good at the end of the round. But I think outside of that, I'm not really too sure where else it looks that good.
Yeah.
Like Nico versus the Tigers, I feel like Jerome Luai is going to have something to prove. I feel like that could be a bit of an avoid there. And then obviously Adam Dewey versus Sharks is probably in a similar sort of realm, but obviously looks pretty good and probably could be. But I just think in a week last week where all the captains fired, I think a couple might disappoint this week. And so it might be a big week for differentiation and trying to get that right.
Fair enough.
In my opinion, at least.
Fair enough. Cool. Final game on the Saturday, Roosters versus the Broncos. Big in for the Broncos with Reece Walsh and Pat Carrigan both returning to the side. And big news as well with Ben Tolte and Jack Jasewski holding their spots in the front row and Willison moving to the second row for the injured Piakura. For the Roosters, I believe there is, this looks like an unchanged side to me. Yep, unchanged side for the Roosters.
Is Billy Smith still on the bench? Or is he back at all?
He is not even on the bench.
Yeah. So Hugo Savala.
Hugo Savala.
If you went, Hugo Savala.
I love my boy Hugo. I bought him in last year and he did fantastic work for me. But the threat of Billy Smith being there is a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those. Xavier Willison. We have an owner on my right. Moving to the second row. I think there's 2 ways to look at this. What is your view on it?
I have a buy view, so like two views. I said that a bit clumsily. But anyway, continue. Xavier Willison on an edge. You look at that and I'm like, doesn't feel as good. I think the upside, though, is he plays on an edge and maybe shifts to the middle or plays 80 on an edge. So I think there's upside in both of those options. Will he go the 100 plus? I don't think so. Could he find the try line potentially? He'll definitely get through less work, though. That's a fact. And I think he's good for 70 plus, hopefully.
Yeah.
And if I can get 70 plus out of Xavier Willison, I'll be relatively happy.
How many minutes do you think he plays if you had to
guess?
Yeah.
Like, put my money on where my mouth is. I think he plays 70 to 80, 75 to 80.
Yeah. I think I'd agree.
I think it's less. I think fitness will be an issue. I think
he's played that the last 2
Reynolds
weeks.
Playing through injury. They're going to put work into that MAM edge, I reckon. So I don't know whether fitness will be an issue. It's different marking up against halves and fullbacks. It's a lot less passive defense. You have to be switched on mentally the whole time, constantly moving your body. I wonder if that'll take it out of him a bit, especially with the depth on the bench. Like Jaden Hunt, obviously, Orbix Tawa coming back. They could easily sub on and play 20 minutes. And I don't know. Jackie G and Ben Tolty played great in the middle last week. I was thoroughly impressed. So
they're not going to play massive minutes in the middle. No. I think this is where Elliot says. I think moving into the middle is pretty realistic. But I think it will. I think it'll look something like he plays like half hour on the edge. Jack G goes off. He moves to the middle for Jaden Hunt. And maybe either Jaden Hunt stays there for the rest of the game and Willison comes off with like 10, 15 to go, or they rotate back.
Yeah.
I can't see him playing any less than 65.
I'd agree.
I think 65 is probably spot on for me.
I would probably be surprised if he played 65 to 70, but I
don't see any world he plays less than 65.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think he's good. I think 550 is a good price, and the break even is it's negative.
I do wonder if I didn't have him. I'm not sure if I would buy him.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, I'm not, but that's just because there's other things I want to do.
Yeah.
But I think it's fine. I think I am still thrown off by the Broncos buy schedule.
Yeah.
Like he's not. I don't think he's a long term hold for that entire period, which we'll get onto. But for this short-ish term, I think he's going to be pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. For the next game, once I get there. Knights Rabbitohs on Sunday, 2 p.m. Ponga comes back in. Best comes back in. Marju comes back in. Sharp back to 5'8". Luke is back in the second row. That might be one of the great team list ends of the year.
Yeah. So little bit of a sidetrack here, but before all the actual ins came in and all the early mail, we had about Frizz coming back, Ponga, Dylan Lucas. I just took a flyer and thought that Newcastle might win, and got them for I got on the line actually, which was 6.5 for Newcastle.
Yeah, right now it's way down.
Yeah, so that's way down. I honestly I should have just backed it head to head. They were paying like almost $3, I think.
Good stuff.
But then now they're down. But yeah, anyway.
No, it's looking good.
Yeah.
I think Fletcher Sharp back at 5'8" is going to do wonders for his confidence.
You think?
I think the high balls and the massive carries out of his own end, he just wasn't looking right in that sense. I think getting less touches on the ball and making them more impactful will probably help him. May not help his scoring, but at least if he starts to look better and just be more around the ball and doing things, that will be better. I think.
Less pressure on him to just do everything.
Yeah.
I think Ponga will do everything. He'll be that link man all over the field. So Fletcher Sharp can kind of just focus on his edge and running the ball more.
Yeah.
I was trying to analyze it, and I'm kind of watching. I think I watched just before halftime, and then a bit of the second half of that Penrith game, and it just felt like he was getting no space from Sandon Smith, and I don't know, maybe Dylan Brown as well. But it felt like on the left there, he would play that sweep role and then just have zero space, and he was just getting shut down. And so I do wonder if you're correct, and it's like he either plays earlier into. Get his hands on the ball earlier, or Ponga helps open up some space for him if he plays that first receiver role again. Yeah. I just wonder if that'll help his confidence, but yeah, for sure.
He's got one of the best defensive second rows inside of it as well in Dylan Lucas, so yeah. I think his body's going to be fine.
Sweet.
On the Rabbitohs, what I just noticed is interesting in this team, Keon Kolomatangi named to start on the edge.
Yeah.
Tallis Duncan, which feels very interesting to me. And otherwise, this side's pretty much as expected. Obviously, Brandon Smith's out, so Bronson Garlett keeps his spot at 9, and Cam Murray will actually play lock for 1 week, it seems.
Yeah. Ewan Aitken on the bench now? Or Lachlan Hubner as well?
on the bench, and Lachlan Hubner on the bench.
In my opinion, that reeks of a late change.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Wayne is doing probably his best, I don't know, Ivan Cleary impersonation.
I don't know who's fallen for that.
But yeah, smokes and mirrors from Wayne apparently. He thinks he's playing finals, but it's, midway through the season.
That doesn't seem like
I don't know, though. If Ewan Aitken isn't fit, would they just start Keon there and then shift him to the middle, similar to Xavier Willison?
I don't know if Keon's got minutes in him like that. Keon's looking pretty flat.
I don't know.
It doesn't. That's not really bad.
It smells like if you're putting him on an edge to maybe hide the injury or just let him get through less work, why move him to the middle? I don't know. It's just... It feels like it's just not worth our brain power to try to work out and just see what happens on game day. But anyway, I think most Keon owners have jumped off anyway. So,
yep.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think anyone owns Keon these days. Cool.
Well, nothing. No, I was laughing at it. No, it's all good.
Sharks versus the Tigers, 4:05 on Sunday. The big change here for the Tigers, obviously, Jareem Buller drops out of the side with that shoulder injury. Taruva shifts to fullback. And yeah, it still does have Gerald Skelton on the wing at this stage. Yeah. I did also hear, though, that it could be Tavana, which I do. Tavana looks like a gun. I also realised Tavana was the guy who scored that incredible try in the preseason where he went around the post.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, have him in the side. Him and Laulili actually look
really good.
Really good.
I like them both.
Yeah.
Taruva had a gun game against Raiders. His running was incredible, but I love both those young wingers. Anyway, Api Coruscant out with that suspension, so Tristan Hope starting at 9, and Kai Pierce-Paul with his Cat 1 concussion means Tony Suka starts in the second row, and I believe the Shark side is unchanged, which includes Nicker is starting now. I don't know if Nicker is starting last week.
Nah, so
He wasn't.
bench flip from Nicker and McInnes coming into the starting side.
No, that's right, and Colquhoun's dropped out, so he's now a sell. But the big news, Sifa Talakai keeps his spot starting in the centres.
Ramian in that team yet or no?
Ramian is still injured.
Sione Katoa is also injured.
Sione Katoa injured himself in Cup. So I love the idea of going Sifa Talakai because he's only like 380k. He's got 100 in his average for the next 2 weeks. Centre wing to RF as well. But I just don't think he keeps the spot.
Ronaldo back in round 11, I should add as well.
Yeah, they got a lot of guys coming back. Obviously, Kale Iro will hold one of those centre spots. That's not unnegotiable. Even if like they don't want to go Jesse Raymond, there's just a lot of guys floating around there. Like Hiroti could move back to the centres or anything could happen. I think it's too risky of a punt. I know some people are doing it this week. I don't think it's for me.
I wanted a piece of Sifa Talakai because it's like, dude, when the Sharks are on, they just seem to kind of give him good ball and he just finds himself in good spaces. But it does just feel like the role's not there, and we're kind of just forcing a square piece into a circle-shaped hole or whatever it is.
I'm sure that's how that saying goes.
I'm sure that's how it is. Anyway, we make our own sayings up on this show.
That's it.
But I did want to avert your eyes to the other 380k player, Britton Nickera. Could you give him the time of day?
I need to see it first. Yeah. I think also his break-even is 80s, 8 and 80s.
Yeah, so I think it's like Tupino. You can wait 1 week and just give it
87, okay. Yeah, you just wait.
Wow, how did that happen? 2020,
yeah.
Okay.
Because he only played games off the bench.
Yeah.
But also, see, this game against the Cowboys was 15 minutes and he only got 20 still. So I'm still like, I want to see it. But
no base game, though.
Yes,
lots of points.
But like 50 minutes for 20 points is
that's pretty abysmal.
Not good enough.
Yeah.
I'll need to see it first. But the beauty is they got 3 weeks now, then the bye, and then you can bring him in probably for 13, Manly, St. George. I think I don't see myself bringing him in before 13.
What's he going to cost then, though, if he plays 80?
Well, it depends what he gets for the next few weeks, I guess.
He gets what?
He will have that 20 in his average for most of those weeks.
Yeah, so he's not going to be more than
if he goes above,
surely.
If he goes above 500, that feels unlikely.
Yeah.
I could look at it. I could look at it for sure.
Maybe some discredit to the Sifa Talakai pick. It's only an MCL injury for Ramian. I was just doing some research as you were sort of talking over there. And original return date was 2 to 4 weeks, so I feel like he's sniffing it around. He'll probably play Cup in the next week or two and then probably jump back into the side. I don't think there's a way they play Talakai over him. He looked good to start the year until that injury. So, I think he'll be back. And then Ronaldo, round 11 return date, so...
Just a quick one from me as well. I'm seeing a lot of people hot and heavy for Terrell May at like 800k or whatever as their front row going forward.
Shoe-in for
I feel like people are forgetting he might play Origin.
I think he's a shoe-in.
Or do you reckon people have mail that he won't just because he didn't play last year?
I don't know if they have mail, but I think that's what they think.
I just don't understand. I don't understand why you'd go for him.
He this year has played the exact role they want for Origin. Last year, his only discredit for Origin was that he looked good because he played so many minutes, and they do not need that in Origin. This year, he's played low minutes around that 50 to 55 sort of range and has just been a beast. Yeah, like that is what they want for Origin.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. Like his PPMs, he's been playing 50 to 60-ish minutes each week, and his PPM point per minute is like over 1 in every single game, which is ridiculous.
Offloading, tackle busting,
he's been fantastic. I just think he plays Origin.
Yeah.
And if he's going to miss 15 and 18, I'm just like, why?
Honestly, he's in that sort of 2-3 horse race for the front row forward one of the year. Like, he's quietly gone under the radar, but he's up there with like Jackson Ford and Alex Twell for impact.
Yeah, those are the three.
To a game.
Those are the three.
Like, yeah.
Ford, Twell, May. But I just don't think it's the right time. I think 827, like Nico Hines is 855. I know it's not the same position. It's not a 1-for-1 example, but if you're going Terrell May over Nico Hines, I think you need checking out.
It just feels like people aren't setting themselves up well for Origin, and that's kind of what it suggests with the trades. I think you'd definitely be looking at Nico before that, and then especially if Terrell backs up from Origin. I mean, fair enough if you think he doesn't go, but if he does back up from Origin, you would think that Benji would give him lower minutes, earlier showers, 40 to 50 minutes.
Yeah, especially if they're blitzing teams, which
you've got Twile already playing 80. I just don't know why you would do it.
No, I agree. I agree. Anything else there quickly? Probably not.
No, probably not.
Penrith Manly 6:15 on Sunday. Lovely time slot. At least it's a decent team. A bit of a decent match, not the Titans Dragons game I watched earlier in the season. I don't believe there's many changes here from either side. Yeah, because obviously Mitch Kenny's still out. IPAP in the second row. Garner in the second row still. I don't think there's a single change here, boys. I reckon this is a seamless. We literally have nothing to talk about. Any players? Anyone sees that's taking a fancy here?
Well, if you went Freddie Lussick last week, you're smiling from ear to ear. Mitch Kenny out for 8 to 12 weeks. Cheese gets injured.
Honestly, yeah.
Grinning.
If your hookers looks like Brayley and Freddie Lussick, I think you've won.
Yeah.
You've won the hooker race. Yeah, he looked great. He still only played in the 50s minutes though. I think they are liking Jack Cogger coming on in the middle there.
Yeah,
if I'm remembering correctly.
Again, I don't think it's an issue because he's so cheap.
No, I don't think you do it now though. No.
Can I raise something to your attention, boys? And I think I already did message it through, but the SC Kiwi, absolute legend of the show. Probably up there with the number one fan. Anyway, I was looking through his team, and he sold Harry Grant the other week for a bottom dollar Freddie Lussick. So he's got, unfortunately, he still had to hold on to Benaya Iolu. Anyway, he still has him. But then, obviously, if Robson goes to Origin, it could flip him to with a bit of money there. But then, yeah, obviously going Lussick as hooker one, been knocking out 50s.
Yeah, don't hate that from Kiwi. I think you do still need... I mean, maybe the plan is now he's just going to eventually go Iolu up to, like, Brayley. Or maybe go... Oh, you feel weird to go back to Grant.
Brayley?
Maybe. Yeah.
And just literally just nuff out Iolu?
Probably, I guess. Yeah, I don't hate it.
It's a gutsy play, and it's probably why he's ranked pretty highly, but...
It is a gutsy play.
Yeah.
Gives you so much cash, though, with Grant obviously underperforming for his value.
Well, I mean, now if you were to go to Grant to Lussick, you only make like, what, 150K?
Oh, you couldn't do it now. But if you had done it before, then...
Yeah, definitely. Grant is starting on the comeback as well. The Grant sell does feel kind of nuts looking at it. Like 61 and 59. Like, it's not special, but it's okay.
Fine. It's a job.
But I do want to get your opinion. Like, if we're holding Grant over Origin, you would think.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the guys you could probably just hold over and then just hope Cheese plays.
Well, both their buys are in 15, 18. So you don't even need a hooker anyway.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So
it does feel fine.
I'm not selling Grant.
Awesome.
Lovely. Team list done for the week. Alrighty, guys. We're now going to talk about the Origin buy period. Talk about all the planning, the teams and the players we're looking to target, and all things to do with that period. Just to know as well, it's obviously different strategies for. It's obviously different strategies for overall versus head-to-head players. We're just going to talk about overall today. Because that's the format we all primarily play. So let's start with just talking about general strategies for this period. Anyone want to go first? Ben?
Yeah, so what I'm bringing to the table today is my sort of approach. So I think too often I get caught in the trap of trying to hold too many great Origin players. And last year I had Payne Haas, I had Cleary, I had a bunch of other players who I all held. And I just don't think I can do this year. I think you get two. That's my mentality this year. You get two. You pick your best two Origin players who you want to keep, you think will back up, who have a good schedule. The rest of them just have to go. Like, it's going to suck selling Cleary, considering he's been so good. But if he's only going to play 1 out of 6 games, you cannot hold him for that. You just can't. And then if you have to burn a trade, getting him back in at the end, then maybe you do that. But you just, I've been caught in the trap too many times of keeping Origin players and thinking they'll back up and not looking at the schedule, and then all of a sudden they play a Thursday night game the day after Origin and don't back up. So I think this year, not playing Panthers roulette with Cleary, I think it's all about setting yourself up by just picking a couple you want to keep. It doesn't necessarily have to be 2 exactly, but I think between maybe 2 and 4 players, 4 would be the absolute maximum you can hold. So if Ford and 12 both go to Origin, you've got to get rid of at least one of them.
Yeah, I think that's all pretty fair. And and I think actually let's tie that into what we're about to talk about now. The teams that are massive avoids during this period, Penrith and the Broncos. So during this period, Penrith are going to have 2 major bye rounds that they miss, and they'll miss 1 mini, and the Broncos are going to miss 1 major and 2 minis. So you add into that their Origin players, they're just going to miss an absolute stack of weeks. So players like Walsh, players like Carrigan, Cleary's one to think about, Edwards. You're going to have to think about selling these guys as much as it may hurt. Cleary specifically, let's talk about. I've looked at their draw quite closely. Round 16, the Penrith play the Titans on a Saturday. Is Cleary going to back up and play that game? I don't think so. So there's a very real chance from 15 to 19, Cleary plays 1 game out of 5 weeks. He only plays in 17. Because 15, he'll miss Origin. 16, I reckon he just rested. Played 17, 18 Origin, 19 bye. So over that period, it's like, are you willing to swallow having almost a fifth of your season an 800k player just sitting, doing basically nothing? So that's what people are going to have to consider. Same as Latrell. Bunnies don't miss any major bye rounds, but they miss 2 minis. So by the time you add him missing 3 majors with Origin and then 2 minis, he's just missing too many weeks to hold these guys, especially given their value. So those are things to consider as well. Elliot, do you want to tell us a little bit about your strategy or things you're thinking into this period?
So the strategy I'm kind of looking at is setting myself up with players that are going to play the first mini buy, and then just lightly monitoring whether I have enough for the first buy schedule. I'm going to look to go a bit conservative there, and then once it hits about probably the second major buy, I'm going to look to start burning trades, try to rip my team apart, get rid of possibly Cleary, try to look for guys with good schedules such as Nico Hines and Adam Dewey. I'll just read out both of their schedules right now. Adam Dewey and the Tigers have, after 15, they go Gold Coast, Dolphins, Newcastle, St. George, then New Zealand, which isn't a great fixture. It's probably in New Zealand, but actually, no, they've already played in New Zealand, so it'll be in
the
Leichhardt, probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not a bad fixture, and I'm thinking, he looks good there. That's if he isn't picked
in
up for Origin. Yeah. However, a guy who will not be picked for Origin, you wouldn't think, is Sir Nicholas Hines, and from 13, so he has the bye in the first major round. From 13, he goes Manly, St. George, New Zealand, Sydney, bye. In 17. So that's just a pretty good fixture because it's like you have everyone else there. And then obviously 18 he has, I just lost it, Broncos and then Dolphins.
Yeah.
So looking pretty good. In terms specifically, because I'm a Cleary owner, specifically I'm probably thinking, and correct me or let me know your thoughts if you think it's a bad plan, but I think I'm going to hold Cleary for 13, so when he's on his bye, see if he backs up in 16. If he's not, I think I'm going to look to trade to Nico, and then probably take it from there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So I think I said 16. I meant 13. So the first mini buy. I said the wrong thing. No, I've probably completely confused you because I just looked at it and then I'm like, why would I bring him in 16? No, it will be for the Manly match into the St. George match in 14. So yeah, I'd probably look to it there.
Yeah, I think Nico in 13 is a very, very good move. I think if you're a non-owner, you could go for it now because it's got a decent next 3 weeks.
I think he does actually still have a pretty good. Currently
Tigers is a bit of a tough game to be fair.
Yeah.
And he's also an absolute monster.
Yeah. Just give us a second. All right. He goes Bunnies, Bulldogs.
Tigers, Bunnies, Bulldogs. Honestly, that's not, as a non-owner, I'm not terrified of that draw.
Not terrified.
So I reckon, if you can fade for a few weeks, you hope he drops, and then the 13, you bring him in. I think that's a great plan.
Yeah.
I have similar thoughts regarding Cleary. I reckon he'll play 13. They play against New Zealand in Sydney. I'll be blown away if he doesn't play that game. That's a massive game. Warriors looking good, and obviously in 14 he'll play. So Cleary only misses 1 game from now until 14. So I reckon you can hold him until then, and then in 15 you've got a real decision on your hands whether to sell. Honestly, I think that's going to decide people's seasons. I think there'll be people who trade him out who are either then kind of going to have to commit to fading him, or they'll have to spend another trade to bring him back in. I don't know what the right decision is at this stage. I don't know what I'm going to do, but that's one people are going to have to think about.
Early doors, I'm probably thinking I'm going to sell him and then bring him back in after Origin. Yeah. And the only reason I think that is because Penrith, depending on whether he does well in Origin, he'll be playing into good... So let's say he plays well. He goes into good form. Penrith are obviously already humming. They're looking for that. They're hungry. They're looking for that premiership. I think he's going to be playing out of his skin. He's going to be the halfback one for sure. Maybe even one of the best Supercoach players in the game. If he loses Origin again and underperforms, does that not just light the fire under him and make him
probably
angry and want to take Penrith there anyway?
Yeah,
that's what I think. I think that if you're fading him, I think that will be the wrong play. But obviously, Supercoach is quite fluid. Up to you.
Yeah, well, you'll have it's still an 8-week period from round 20 to round 27, and like you'd imagine he'll play all of those. Did I get that? No, he'll play all of those, and even if he misses like maybe one where they rest him for 26 or 27 like they did last year, he still gets 7 out of 8. So yeah, bringing him back in will probably be a good play. Right, how I like to sort things. I'm a lot more analytical. I'm a spreadsheet guy. I like just going full on deep dive into things. So I've got like tier rankings for all my players. So there's players who I'm pretty almost certain are going to play Origin, players who may play Origin. There's guys who won't play Origin, I don't think, who are studs that I want to build my team around.
So I see Adam Dewey at the top of the list.
There's no chance he plays Origin.
That's a crazy opinion.
There is no chance he plays Origin. Why would they pick him on a 6-man? I haven't heard yet.
Okay.
Should we make a bet? Should we make a live podcast bet?
Can you present me a scenario?
Yes, I can right now.
Yeah, go for it. And I'll guarantee I'll be able to solve it with a bet.
Welcome back to the SC courtroom, everybody.
So ready? So 6-man bench.
Yeah.
Brayley as hooker cover.
Cool.
3 middles, a second row. Adam Dewey.
Okay. So now I want you to present to me a scenario where that team can't be solved with a better player instead
Cleary
of Dewey.
goes down.
Cleary goes down. That's a one in the. If you're picking, no. If you're picking your side.
Okay, ready? Round 2. Moses goes down.
If you're picking your side based on your half going down, also I can guarantee you Burton is better as an outside back cover, which is what you're way more likely to need. Like not even close. What's more likely, a half back or 5'8" goes down, or an outside back, which happens every other game.
Okay, but
if you're going into a game with Adam Dewey as your designated outside back cover, you've lost your mind. You've actually lost your mind.
The way he's playing this year, I don't think it's outrageous.
No. Everyone says the entire time Adam Dewey is not built physically. Like he's a fragile player, etc., etc. Then you're going to chuck him at center, getting run at by like, I don't know, probably Toyo or whatever it is. Like, I'm not saying he's a physical demon, but just like if you're doing that, I think you're actually crazy.
If you take Dewey, Brayley, 3 middles and a second row, you have every position on the field.
They won't take that bench.
Okay, but I'm saying there's a chance.
Most of these 6-man benches look like the last 2 positions as like outside back cover, half cover. I think it's way more likely they go hooker, 2 middle, edge, and then like, I don't know, Jenkins and Luai. Then you actually cover everything way better. And the only sacrifice is you miss 1 middle. And if you pick Chwal or if you pick Yo or you pick Haas when he's eventually fit anyway, you're going to cover all those minutes anyway.
I think there's an important factor we've left out of the equation here. Laurie Daly is the coach.
I don't see if Laurie Daly has any affinity to Adam Dewey.
They also just don't have an out and out. Like they don't have a set 6. Like is there a world he just gets picked at 6? He's played.
No, he's not even playing at 6 now.
Yeah, but he's played under.
Nor is Moses.
Yeah, nor is Moses.
Moses is a better player than Adam Dewey. Not this season, but generally he's a better player than Adam Dewey. Again, I could be wrong. I'd be blown away. And even if he's picked on the bench, he'll probably back up anyway, and it just means he misses 15, 18, which whilst not ideal, is not the end of the world.
I feel as though a rugby league bet is in order. We need to get something flowing.
But if he's picked on the bench, I'm like,
either way, it doesn't matter.
I thought the words that came out of your mouth was "there's no chance."
Okay, fine. All right, fine. I'll bet you then. That's whatever.
What should we put up on the cards for the podcast in the name of content, Dan?
I don't know. This you proposed it.
Great point.
So wait, am I going against both of you who think Dewey's going to get selected?
Just go against one. Do you want to take it or?
I'll take it. Right. I'll cop whatever it is. Like I'm trying to think along the lines of pint of water with a fork, sort of.
Areas. No way that bad. We'll discuss this off.
Actually, you know what?
Going to waste a bunch of time.
You know what I've seen on TikTok? There's a guy. It's not really a punch in there if it goes well, but there's a guy on TikTok who runs every time the Parramatta Eels play. Yeah. Every time they concede a try, you up the speed by 1 kilometre an hour, and every time they score, you take it down by 1. So it just goes up, down, up, down.
Oh, should we say?
But you have to do that.
I don't know how it's going to work with Adam Dewey getting selected.
But for the St. Illawarra Dragons. So you have to put the Dragons game on every time the Dragons concede. You have to go up a speed every time they score. You have to go down.
But what's the official terms? Dewey getting picked game one in the starting?
He has to be on the bench
in the 19.
So 19.
In the 19.
Okay. No, okay, I'll agree to that.
Because I was also thinking, like, could we do it like you have to run half a kilometer for like every minute he plays? But he might just not come.
He might barely play.
Actually, Canada plays 80 minutes. Not in a marathon.
You're on a marathon. No, I'll do the idea Ben had if Dewey's picked or not picked for the first Origin game.
Yeah. So what is it? Is it something? Is it to do with St. George?
Yeah. So
we'll pick a St. George game.
You're gonna get on a treadmill.
For the entire game.
Yeah, you're going to bring your laptop or whatever for the entire game, halftime included, whatever speed it's on at halftime, you just have to live with.
Oh, jeez.
You bring your laptop, you pop it up. Every time the Dragons concede, you go up by 1 kilometre an hour. Every time they score, you go down by 1 kilometre an hour. And you start at 10 kilometres an hour. Maybe because it's the Dragons, we'll start at 8 kilometres an hour.
Jeez Louise.
Far out. We'll work out
We'll
specifics.
flesh it out.
We'll iron out specifics.
Okay. I can't believe I just made it with you when you were the main one campaigning for it.
I mean,
I just feel like Ben wouldn't have done
complete
it.
agreement. I would have done it.
You would have done it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, yeah, I'll be blown away if he gets selected. I think he's a fantastic player. He's having an awesome season. I don't think he makes sense on their bench at all. Anyway, as I was saying, I've got my guns who I don't think are going to play Origin. I've got my guys who I'm still happy to play during these major bye periods. And then I've got my guys who I don't really want to play. So like guys like Setu 2, guys like, I mean, we'll see how Lasardi goes. He might end up being a good player, but like Brandon Smith, etc. I don't count them as numbers towards my 13. Yeah. I want to make sure I've got 13 guys who I'm like pretty happy with. So the focus for me is just getting through these first three, so 12, 13, and 15. And then by the time we hit 16, 16's a pretty easy week. 16, it's Eels, Rabbitohs, Broncos for the mini bye. So I reckon you'll cruise through that, and then it's just getting through 18, 19, and it's done. 15 is going to be a really hard week. 15 teams on a bye include Manly, Bulldogs, Storm, Knights, Cowboys, Dragons, Panthers. That's like some of the most Supercoach relevant teams.
Yeah.
So I think people are going to really struggle in 15. So I reckon that is basically where you're prioritizing your focus. For example, we're about to talk about guys later, may have a bye in 12, but 15, no bye. I'm still happy to go with that.
Yeah,
I'm still happy to, for now, not focus on 12 as heavily to get someone who's ready for 15.
So I think you're targeting your Tigers and your Sharks, and there's a few others I think you can target.
Yeah, let's talk about those teams.
Come round 13.
Yeah, let's talk about those good teams. So the teams that only have one bye in this period, so the teams that only have one major bye are Raiders, Sharks, Manly, Warriors, and Tigers. And then the Dolphins are a bit of a unicorn side. They only have one mini bye.
Yeah.
So those teams are your premium places to target. So any of those kind of big dogs, Herbie, not Terrell May, he'll get picked for Origin. Adam Dewey, because he's not going to get picked for Origin.
Taylor May.
Kai Pierce-Paul, Taylor May, Nico Hines. This is where Sasungi's going to become into a big one. I might be forced to just fork out for Simi at this stage if he keeps ripping. The fact they only have a bye in 18, you just get so much coverage across that space in between. Yeah. So those are the places that I'll be looking. Warriors as well, they're same as Raiders, only have a bye in 18. So any of those guys that are piquing your interest, like if Jackson Ford doesn't get picked for Origin, feels like almost a must given the amount of coverage he's going to have over that period, which is going to be magical.
Well, that's just my Simi Sasungi, right? If he doesn't get picked.
Yeah.
So
I'm not saying you have. I'm just saying the prospect of him becomes super.
Oh, for sure. And I'm in 100% agreement, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I think just one other thing to keep track on that I like to do, guys that you're probably going to sell, make sure you're not contributing them to your side as players. So, for example, Firemarnie, he's going to peak in 11. I don't think it's overly controversial that Firemarnie's not a keeper to have in your side over this Origin period. So I've got it planned in here that I'm like, yep, Firemarnie probably goes in 11, and then that will probably go to someone who's covering in round 12.
Yeah.
You'd imagine.
Likely one of those 14 or five teams or the / Dolphins who have
like it might be Simi. Like that'll probably be a pretty good week to bring in Sasungi.
Yeah.
They have the bye in that week. Anyway, that's irrelevant. You're looking for people in that week who are going to be, so just make sure you're not focusing on their bye periods too much in this period.
I think I just had one final sort of planning thing, which is just any players that you think are in contention for Origin that you want for the Origin time period, leave them till last. So make your trades now to players that you know confidently won't play Origin, whether that's because they're not performing well enough, whether that's because they're not eligible, things like that. Like your Herbies and players like that, perfect time now to trade them in. If you're going to trade in a Dewey for the Origin buy period, do that in round 11. Wait as long as you can before you do that to see how the predicted teams change coming forward.
Yeah, so you want to get that news.
So I think, that was the other thing I noted is if you're trying to set yourself up, leave the players who you think are in contention for Origin till the last minute before you obviously bring them in.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I think that's the crux of it. I'd recommend that you have your own kind of system to plan. Like, you don't have to go with exactly what one of us, each of us say. Some people like to be really aggressive in this period and hold all these Origin guys and not hold the Origin guys and just use lots of trades around. Some people like to be more conservative and hold and then smash it at the back half of the year. I think we've all found in previous years that this is a time where if you sort your side out properly, you can really make a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Like, I think I did it last year. You guys might have done it last year as well. Yeah. This is the time to really, if you sort yourself out, you're ready to go. I think just as echoing Ben's sentiment, you just got to have these guys who are the big dogs with good coverage. You just have to have them. I think Herbie, like, I can't see a world where you don't own Herbie.
He's a genuine must-have.
He's a genuine must-have. Every major, only misses 13, and is looking unbelievable. Same with, after 12 hits, Nico. I can't see many worlds where you don't go Nico.
Yeah.
You kind of have to have him.
Yeah. So those kind of guys, I think you just have to find ways to get them into your side. And it's probably also a good time to start nuffing out to some extent.
Yeah.
If you need some cash, going down to someone cheap and just get that budget in the tank ready to go.
Even if that's a player at the moment, like prime example is probably Jonathan Sewer, who like you're not confident they're going to play for a while, but there's a chance they make it in the side. Like when Crichton goes to Origin, if he's been playing well, they'll just move Tuala back to the centres and play him on the wing. Yeah. So like those sort of players, like I bought in Manu Lailea last week and I'm fine having him because if there's an injury or if someone goes to Origin, maybe I don't think it'll happen, but in the world where New South Wales lose 2 second rows and Dylan Lucas gets the call up, like I'm happy to have him. So your nuffs don't have to be someone who's never going to play, but just someone who is really cheap and there's just a chance with injuries or Origin that they might play.
Yep, I'd agree. Final things just to go through. Latrell Mitchell.
Yeah, gotta go.
Are you selling him in 12?
Yes. He will be a 100% selling in my team in round 12. And the beauty of it is you can go to anyone in the game. He'll probably be $1 million by then.
Yeah.
And
$1 million after this week.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing is he might go down a little bit, but he'll comfortably be over 900K.
Yeah, the counter question I guess I have to that is, would you sell him earlier than 12? Is there a world?
In the interest of making that tiny bit more cash?
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm just pretty sure they have a good draw. So
okay.
They go Knights this week, and then they go
Sharks,
which will be right centre, I guess, if Talakai stays or Ramian. And then the Dolphins, which, I mean, this week it's either going to be Jack Bostock, Selwyn Cobbo, or Trey Fuller.
Yeah.
So
you got to hold him, mate.
Yeah, I think round 12, round 11. That's also Magic Round.
Magic
Latrell
round.
in Magic
Yeah.
Round against the Dolphins.
You want Latrell in Magic Round.
But then,
Cool.
12, you'd sell him. And also, the other probably massive talking point, Cleary. Are we thinking at the moment you're going to sell? Or
I'll be selling Cleary.
I think he's going to go.
Yeah.
My plan is probably my 2 halfbacks to be Dewey and Hines at one point. Obviously selling Cleary, and then I'll probably keep Sanders for that first buy. And then
you're going to bring Dewey if he plays Origin? That's interesting.
If he doesn't play, if he doesn't, otherwise it could be Tanner Boyd. I was thinking about as well.
I mind that.
And then in the back half of the season, probably looking to side grade one of my 3 fullbacks back to Cleary. So looking that way instead of swapping Hines or someone back out, I'll probably just roll the 3 halfbacks to the back end.
Yeah, don't mind that. At this stage, I'm thinking I'm going to try find a way to hold Cleary. I know it's punchy, but I think hopefully my team's just going to be at a stage where I can just back my depth. I'll have a gun flex. It's just essentially like
Daniel Atkinson.
I mean, he'll be gone by then. God willing, anyway. Jeez, what a season he's had. At the moment, I'm thinking I might hold him, but again, the allure of the cash and going for another big dog instead may be too strong. Yeah. Especially since, we always say this, you're only burning one. If you trade a player out and you trade him back in, you're only burning one trade. Because, if you go Cleary to I don't know, let's say Dewey,
Yeah.
like one of you guys would. And then, as you said, if you go from a fullback back to Cleary, you've really only wasted one trade because that fullback was going to go anyway.
Back to Dewey.
Yeah. So yeah, lovely. I think that's basically us done for Origin chat. Hopefully that was helpful to you guys somewhat. Let's move into the Physio Files.
All right, so quickly ripping into the Physio Files this week. There's a bit to talk about, so we'll get through it nice and quickly. Kaipius Paul obviously had his Cat 1 HIA, so
sorry, mate.
Tony Suka comes into the side for 1 week. Obviously no wheels up there. KPP will be back next week. Brendan Smith, calf re-injury. He's going to be playing week by week, so if you're an owner, he's basically enough until he gets that sorted, unfortunately. Jacob Rillo out for 6 weeks, which means obviously it was Trey Fuller. Now Jack Bostock will have a good, secure role there, depending on who chops and changes in that position. Corey Waddell did his pec injury. It's a 1 to 3 month recovery. Scans haven't fully cleared the extent of the injury yet, but if you're a Prosecco owner, maybe there's a few more minutes on offer there. But it does coincide with Nathan Brown coming back, so I think that'll pretty much be a 1-for-1 trade. Brendan Piakura did his LCL. He'll be out for 4 weeks, so that'll probably push Willis into the edge for the next 4 weeks, I would wager a guess. Hughes got a Cat 1 HIA, obviously. Tyron Wishart in the team this week. Not many problems there for the Storm. However, obviously Wishart would probably drop back to the bench next week, given that Jerome Hughes will be back more than likely. Noel Martin with syndesmosis on both of his ankles simultaneously.
That's crazy.
So 6 to 8 weeks, and obviously I think he just got out of surgery for that. I think he had surgery on something. I could be wrong there, but obviously out for 6 to 8 weeks. I think that means a spell for Sasungi in the second row, as we touched on earlier. Dream Buller, shoulder injury. There's no extent. It's going to be week to week at this point. There's no guideline for his return. It's sort of just when he's feeling up to it, but I would expect them to rest him for a couple of weeks, given that it's both shoulders. So, I think he'll have a bit of time off. Kickout did his pec. That's a 12-week recovery, which is ridiculous. 3 months out of the game. But that does mean that someone is going to have a big minute role on that edge. Obviously this week's Atili Tupanua, but could be Josh Curran. Who knows? I'm sure it'll chop and change a bunch. Zach Hosking, obviously with his concussion, Cat 1. You touched that it might be 2 weeks for him. Is that?
Yeah, 2 weeks. I think what I heard is
least.
that it was just he's had 2 bad ones back to back. I'm not sure if it was in training or he had delayed symptoms from the game, but yeah, apparently at least 2 weeks. Yeah, you're correct there, Dan.
So, Sasungi is definitely due for a spell at second row. Then I'd say not sure how long Ata Moriata will stay at second row. Kiraz, news came out in the last couple of days that it's an MCL sprain. It's 4 to 6 weeks recovery. Now, the official post put by the Bulldogs is 4 to 6 weeks recovery. I don't know if that means 4 to 6 weeks from now or 4 to 6 weeks from when he did his injury. Either way, I think there's a position there for Jonathan Sewer for a little bit, and then it'll probably coincide nicely with Crichton going to Origin. So definitely an option there. And my final one, Ethan Strange is out with an ankle injury. They do expect him to be right for round 10. He was touch and go to go this week, and they just decided to pull him to not injure it further. So that's basically all the Physio Files at this point. There's a few more players I haven't touched on. I know Trey Fuller obviously likely to drop back to Cup if he doesn't get minutes. Liam Henry got re-injured in reserve grade, I saw, so a bit of a big out for the Panthers there. And there's a few more players in doubt. Adam Reynolds playing through a shoulder injury. He's being needled up every week. He re-aggravated it at the captain's run, but the Broncos are confident he'll play. So there's a few different things coming in and around. But Lasardi's good to go. Green lights.
Yeah,
Cool.
Green lights on Lasardi. Fantastic panic buys and sells for the week, starting with my panic buy. Now, I'm going to talk about Saxon Pryke. Now, Saxon's a bit of an interesting one. Has come onto the Parramatta bench for the last 2 weeks, played 39 minutes and 56 minutes, getting scores of 49 and 48. Saxon cost 201K, so he's bottom dollar. I'm going to rate him at a 4. Now, whilst I think Saxon is a good buy for certain teams, I mean, the main benefit I can see from it is that you just make cash. Yeah. I know a lot of people, or at least I, have a lot of money sloshing around my front row, which is just being wasted. There's no chance I want to play 4. I don't want to play 3 front rows on the regular when we get into the back end of the year. So definitely not 4. So one of them needs to go. But just also the fact that I think he has the potential to make a little bit of money here. I know that Hopgood and Matt Dory both have ACL injuries, so they're done for the year. Jack DeBellin is absolutely hated by Jason Rolls, so I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. Sam Tuivati's been out with what we suspect to be a concussion, but that's now lingered for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So, and it's more just vibe based. I just think Jason Rolls kind of likes him. I think he's put him on for decent minutes, back-to-back weeks in a row, basically out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I think he must have impressed somewhat in training. I think he'll make you maybe a little bit of cash, but either way, you're just bringing in someone at rock bottom dollar who has the potential to maybe cover a week every now and then, just be handy.
Yep.
And the rest of the time, he's just putting your money elsewhere.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you don't really bring him in trying to get that money out.
No.
You just bring him in. He's your I don't know, basically non-playing player.
Yeah, he's your front row forward 4.
But if in Origin somehow he pumps out a 60, that'll get taken into consideration. So yeah, I think that's a nice play if you have the trade or need money.
I also think Jack Williams is now just he's just an edge. I think Jack Williams, that's what he's preferred. So
yeah, I would wait and see after this week. I think they'll get exposed by the Warriors medals, and whether there's a bit of a reshuffle, who knows?
Maybe. But I also think Parramatta are in for a bad season, so maybe a young guy like this will just get a little bit more of a crack.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Fair.
Just on Saxon Pryke, I was actually looking at him to bring in this week. I'm only, spoiler, looking at one trade, but then was looking at the second with Saxon Pryke. For my team, it just means that then I have Flegler bobbling around at FRF3. I've obviously got Howe at 2RF, so obviously anything could move around with that. But it just felt like a trade I didn't need to make this week. And going into the season, when I could find a way to save trades, I said I would try to do that because I want to try to work towards having trades at the back end of the season. And where I'm probably going to be using a lot of trades in this Origin period, it just felt like unnecessary for me. And it felt a bit wishy-washy in the sense that I was trying to make money for a Trey Fuller upgrade from Atkinson or like Atkinson to Ponga next week or something. And it just feels like I'm falling into bad habits where I'm trying to set my plan, getting set in my plan too early. And it's like, obviously you could go Atkinson to anyone pretty much at that point with flex things. But it just felt like something I don't need to do. And Saxon Pryke wasn't really the player I was looking for anyway. So I'm more than happy just to see how everything plays out and then just recalculate and make a new plan for Atkinson in the coming weeks. So
I would agree as well that I don't know if Flegler is a strong enough front row forward 3 for that, like to bring in Pryke. I think if you're going like Flegler Pryke, who are both starting on the bench forwards at the moment, we didn't talk about it in team list. That's really disappointing that Flegler got moved back to the bench. I think you're playing with a little bit of fire if you ever need to sub in a front rower. I guess you said you got Ramhow, but yeah.
Your point was great where you said that it just depends team to team. So
yeah,
I have 4 premium front row forwards at the moment, so it would make more sense for a team like we both had. I have Howe, Stefano, Twal, and forward. And I'm happy to play them all, but like at some point in the season, you're right, someone will have to go down. So if you have a spare trade this week, Pryke's definitely not a bad option to go down. I just don't know who I'd go down from.
Yeah, cool. And then I would just want to make one last comment. If you have a Paseka at FRF3, which is basically the better version of Tom Flegler from this season. But yeah, I'd be more happy to do that.
I
think I would actually make that trade.
I'd agree.
It just feels not strong enough for my Origin.
I'd agree.
Cool.
Who are you going to go down?
Noah Martin. So then I'd move Wilson, who's currently in my front row down, and then go up. Yeah. Saxon Pryke, Flegler, and then obviously I have Stefano and Twal in my starting front row.
Yep.
Just doesn't feel strong enough for me, and it just feels like something I don't need to do.
I'd agree.
Anyway, cool. All right, my sell. Let's just regroup. Oh, yes.
Are
we doing buys?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I've absolutely fumbled.
Lucky I cut it.
Well, I'll chuck a little bleep over, so you won't actually know what I've said or how I fumbled, but I have, so... Third one, rack it up. Third one for the week, lads.
They'll know in a second when you get to your cell. They'll know in a second when you get to your cell what you said.
They'll figure it out. But for now,
yeah.
stay guessing. So obviously my buy is Taylor May. I haven't blundered, have I? No, yes, Taylor May.
That's right.
That's correct. So I'm bringing him into my team this week. Another spoiler. Love spoilers. But yeah, I'm bringing him into my team this week. I would place him at an 8, to be honest. I think he's a really strong player who is at absolute bottom dollar. And the reason I've made him possibly a little bit higher, because obviously it varies team to team, but because this will be the week to get him in the sense that he's not getting any cheaper. The 7 drops out of his average, and then, yeah, it just rocks around.
Bar the first week of Origin, great coverage. So.
Yeah, fantastic coverage with the Tigers' upcoming draw.
Yeah.
We know the type of player he is. He's averaged, I think, 79 in these last 2 games. Obviously picked up tries in both, I believe. Or maybe a try assist or whatever it was. But anyway, he's got attacking stats. I think it gives me more confidence that Macassini was in there and he only picked up like probably 1 attacking stat. And then in 2 games, Taylor and Mays picked up 1 in each game. Just feels like he's a bit of a goer, and it feels like they kind of want to create their attack around Taylor May, even though Dewey's been playing very strongly on the right. I'm really keen on him. I was keen on him in the preseason. Obviously had that 7 and absolutely cooked me at the start, but I'm more than happy to get him back into my team and let him do wonders over Origin.
Yep. Nah, completely agree. I also had him for that 7 and it sucked. I would also say as well, I think with Luai there, they'll slowly but surely start creeping ball back to the left, and the Macassini versus Taylor May output update has coincided with Luai back. So I don't think that's a sort of that's something to consider as well, since Luai's come back a lot more ball on the left already, and I think there's definitely more and more coming that way.
Yeah, I just think they'll score a lot of points. Like, it doesn't even matter if they're right or left side dominant. They just score points.
Yeah.
All it really takes is you to score 1 try. And Taylor May's base has been good. I think it'll get better. His tackle busting's been awesome. I could easily see him averaging 70, easily, and probably more over the Origin period, which is exactly what you want. He is, as you said, one of those that falls into that category of he misses 12, but then the rest of the coverage is so good. It's fine to do. It's fine to do this week anyway.
Yep.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Awesome. I'll go next. I got Matt Duffy as a buy. Now, I've seen a lot of slander on his name, and I do understand it to some extent. I was originally going to bring him in, but having thought deeper about it, there's other players I want. I do think he's a great option. I think he'll at least get 2 weeks, and it could be more depending on Jai Gray. Shoulder AC joints are one of those week-to-week ones. Like, it'll just be when he's ready to come back at that point, he'll come back. And obviously, when Latrell goes to Origin, who knows how the team will be made up. Wayne tends to do weird and wacky things with players he likes. For example, cheese to second row. So, I'm not saying he's done for the season if you do get him in, but fullback does feel like a premium position. Great captaincy option this week. So if you're short a captaincy option, you have some spare money, and you want to upgrade a fullback.
You're going to captain Matt Duffy?
If I had him, I'd at least throw the VC on him.
Wow. Okay.
What was your stat about average fullbacks averaging?
Fullbacks have averaged 100 points. They've scored 100 points plus in the last 3 games against Newcastle.
Yeah, but
what
isn't that like James Tedesco, Dylan Edwards,
they're just abused.
Okay.
The Melbourne Storm.
I now kind of want you to buy him in so you can put your money where your mouth is.
Well, I've got more cash, so that's fine. But I've seen slander on it. I don't think it's the worst decision. I don't think it's the best decision. It's probably like a 2, purely because I think there's better options. Your Kalen Pong is back this week if you want to take a bit of a flyer. Flex is one of those beautiful spots. You can bring in anyone. So, I think it's probably about a 2. However, I've seen a lot of chat from the Supercoach community like slandering and saying you can't get him, blah, blah, blah. I think you can get him. I just think there's better decisions.
I think it's silly, to be honest. 400k is very cheap, and his break evens, whatever it is, very low.
Negatives, I think.
Oh, it's obviously negatives. I think it's like -50.
Yeah, negative.
Like, he'll probably make a quick 150k in the next 2 weeks, probably.
Yeah.
If you think that's worth the trade, go for your life. There's no way I would do it, though. That's not how I really like to roll. Also, would it shock? I don't know if it would shock me if Jai Gray was back like next week.
No, maybe not.
And then I guess equally he could be back to he could miss all the way up until like round 12, 13, 14 or whatever. So I think you've got to accept you're taking a gamble.
But maybe if his Supercoach season isn't going the right way and you only have 400k at flex, maybe
you could take
a world.
You could take a flyer. I do just also think like if there's ever a game where his base is even down just a little bit and he gets like a 40, like what he's priced at, then it doesn't feel this hot all of a sudden. So, yeah, not one for me, but I could see an argument for it maybe.
I think if your team was in a better position and you didn't have more fires to bring in, if you already brought in Lasardi, or like if you have, I don't know, not other things to do, I'd have a look at it. But I think in most team scenarios, I think it's a little bit of a trappy play.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
But
moving back down onto our sells of the week, I have Jackson Purdue. Obviously, keeps leaking cash. He's scored some 30s, which obviously isn't great. However, for me personally, he's like a 3. I think there's too many other fires. I think he's still averaging really highly, like across the season. So, although he's had some bad games, if you just plug and play him every week, he's still averaging 67 across his entire season. He's got 2 big hundreds, which have probably decided weeks for players. And I think there will come a time where they use him a bit more. The only reason he's potentially a sell is a 128 break even this week. Fletcher Sharp is very, very cheap. So if you need to make cash and you're considering that, maybe there's a swap, even a swap to Luai maybe. If you don't think if you're confident he's not going to play Origin. I'm not. So, I think he's going to have good weeks and he's going to have bad weeks. He's now scored 3 scores for the season under 50, which is probably not ideal from someone who is a premium center. But yeah, I think he's doing a job for me, and I'd probably put him at a 3. I think there's better things to do this week.
Yeah. I guess I should talk because I'm the other Purdue owner. Yeah, I've been looking to sell Purdue for weeks.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't felt right. And now I reckon there's almost every chance I hold him until the Cowboys buy in around 15. Okay. At least while Fletcher Sharp is not looking all that hot. The 5'8" market is just so poor. Yeah. Like Cameron Munster is below 500k, which is like, whoa, a Munster below 500k, but like he's going to play Origin. The Storm don't look good. That doesn't feel right. So it is very upsetting that he was up at he was at 713k. And now this week he's certainly going to drop back into like the mid 500s. That's just really pretty brutal. But I think that's just the reality of the situation right now. 5'8's not a premium position, so I don't want to burn trades there.
Solid play there. But I think, if hand on heart, if I was you two, I would sell Jackson Purdue for Fletcher Sharp this week. That's what I would do if I had Purdue.
Yeah. Well, I just don't have the trades. I don't think many people do have a trade this week to do that. Okay. There's like a bit of a luxury move.
I think I could maybe make it work. Fletcher Sharp back at 6 is tempting.
It just feels like it's not a matter of if Fletcher Sharp will be good again. He will. And it feels like this is the time to maximize Purdue cash and get a cheap Fletcher Sharp, even though he does have a high break even.
I would say for every $1 that Purdue goes down this week, Fletcher Sharp will go down as well. So you're actually not losing anything by holding him. You just choose the matchup you like more. Yeah.
The only other thing holding me back with Fletcher Sharp is they have the bye in 12 and 15. Like if it was one of them, maybe I'd cop it a little bit more. 12 and 15 is a little bit more brutal. But I do agree with you the fact that Fletcher Sharp is not going to continue to average 30 to 40 for the rest of the year. Like that's not going to happen.
Completely agree.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. All right, down to me. You guys finally get to figure out what I spoiled before. Arama Howe.
Yes.
Bit of a contentious topic was probably he's on no on sell radar this week. Well, not many people. Is quite high. Highly priced, 583k. He's made you a lot of bicky. To put a number to it, I will say it's a 5 this week because there's more fires to happen. There's more people you need to trade out of your team this week. It's a very luxury trade. He's made a lot of cash if you held him through their buy. There's probably no reason for you to sell him this week. The only sort of self-rebuttal to that, I guess, is I've been watching his scores. And especially in that Warriors game, he was on about 20 or 30 with like 10 to 15 to go. And then he scores his try, which gets up to whatever it was. Him up to like a 70 or whatever it was. I don't know if you got it there. Yeah, 74. So he has been bailed out by a bit of attack, but the opposite to that is he can find the attack. And I think in a week where the Raiders might be a little bit low on troops, bit of blood in the water, definitely probably not a sell this week. So maybe I have gone a bit high with a 5 there, but definitely could do it if you're going to make some money moves and some good, bring in some good players with some good Origin buy coverage. But yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I think Arama Howe has that buy in a mini in 13 and a major in 18, so it's okay over that period. But I just basically think he's peaked. I think it's going to come where there's going to be probably a few weeks in a row where he's not going to score a try and he's going to drop down to mid to low fives. It's like, do you really want to waste all that cash you've earned? So I could see him selling. He's on my radar to get sold at any stage, probably within the next 4 weeks. If I'm really struggling for numbers for 12, I could hold him for that Manly game in 12. But yeah, I don't see any way I hold him through 13. He doesn't feel like a season keeper at front row or second row to me. No. So yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking about with him.
Cool.
Yep. Alrighty, finishing off with my panic sell for the week. I'm going to talk Trey Mooney. I've held him for all this time. He's actually done a wonderful job, Trey Mooney, in the end. Like the fact he's managed to make 80K when it looked like he was going to be a complete and utter plotter is miraculous.
The garbage man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, he scored in like the first in this Roosters game. I think he scored pretty early. Anyway, his break even's 58. So I'd imagine he's not going to leak that much cash anyway if I have to hold for one more week. But also, I think it's a completely fair sell. I would say, yeah, a 7. I think is right.
Yep.
I'm not at this stage. I'm not going to sell him this week, as far as I can tell. But I think there's definitely a play for it. I think it's great, as I was talking about with Pryke, great way to earn some cash. Like, why would you hold Trey Mooney for 522K when you could bring in someone who you're also not going to play for 320K cheaper? So,
who are you selling for Pryke? Sorry to spoil your trades, but
we'll get there in a sec, mate. We'll get there in a sec, mate. Hold your horsies.
Because I was wondering why you're not selling Trey Mooney instead.
We'll get there. Yeah. So, I mean, the Knights also, as I just talked about with Sharp, terrible by coverage, missed 12, missed 15. So, any of those kind of guys you can probably cut around this period. So, yeah, Trey Mooney is not on my keep list.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't have him anymore.
I agree
I
too.
got rid of him a long time ago.
Fantastic. Are we ready then to move into trades for the week?
Let's do it.
I'll start then, as Ben just kind of spoiled it. I am bringing in Saxon Pryke, who I talked about. I just think it's time to get money out of my front row. And then I'm also bringing in Taylor May, as we talked about. The lack of chat around Taylor May for the past week has been staggering to me.
Yeah.
Like, he's under 600K and he's an absolute stud. I think he's a pretty similar player. What's a pretty similar kind of player comparison in terms of level for Taylor May?
I was going to say like Kale Lero.
I was about to say the same player. I think it's a really, really good comparison.
Casey McLean.
I think
all that sort of Robert Toyer.
I think Casey's maybe a little bit more, because I think his base is a little bit down on KLR, like just a tad. But his try scoring threat's still there. He's in a top 4 side, unquestionably. They've got a great buy period, and he's obviously not going to play Origin. I think it's a fantastic buy.
Yeah.
And I'm selling Noah Martin and moving Trey Mooney into my second row for 1 week, because I kind of need the number. I mean, I think this was pre-Lasardi, so maybe I will play Lasardi instead of Trey Mooney. That's going to be a tough debate. But yeah, Pryke goes into my front row forward 4, and then I'm selling Macassini to bring in Taylor May. I don't see any way he gets back into this side, and I'm not interested in him anymore.
Fair enough.
Captains, sorry? Or were you going to ask coming first?
I was just going to ask you a question, or like give you a proposition, actually. You're welcome to...
Off you go, mate.
Flog it off or take it on board. But, to help you with your sit v starts, you've been getting them wrong, haven't you? Like, a little bit wrong.
I should just do the opposite.
Yeah, think about whoever's going to go better out of Lasardi and Trey Mooney, and just do the opposite, mate. Do the opposite.
You're probably right, because what I think's going to happen is that I think Lasardi's going to play like 45 to 60 minutes.
Yeah.
So I probably should just start Lasardi.
Go for it.
Yep, I like it.
This will be the week where Trey Mooney scores a hat trick.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, Louise. Could you imagine?
Here's some vibrating there.
We'll just get that little fix.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah. I mean, I did just toy around when you just said sell Purdue. I toyed around with going reversing the Pryke thing and going Sharp instead of Purdue, but I think I still want to see it from Fletcher first. If his break even was lower, I think I would, but it feels like there's minimal downside there. And I don't hate this Cowboys matchup against the Bulldogs as well. I don't hate it. Yep. Captaincy, I'm VCing Herbie. That's locked in. I think he's going to be matched up against, I think it's Nick Meaney this week.
Yeah.
Which is just, awesome. He's going to bust about 20 tackles.
Worth noting that it's technically not the weaker edge of the Storm, but I don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters at this point. They're both weak edges, and they'll get the ball to Herbie. Captain, I'm still up in the air. I'm looking at Teddy. I'm looking at Cleary. I'm looking at Trell. It will probably be one of those 3 names I just said. Currently, I've got it on Cleary just to be safe, but Did we talk about this? I think we did talk. Yeah, we talked about Jackson Ford.
Yeah,
I was looking at Jackson Ford and thinking, if that was Payne Haas, would I be captaining him? And I think the answer is yes. So I'll look at Jackson Ford and think I could do it. But most likely, I think it's going to be Cleary captain and VC Herbie.
Yep.
Awesome. Ripping down to me. All right, cool. So this week I am obviously doing the Taylor May, bringing him in, getting rid of Fafita, who I've had to hold for, is it 2 weeks now? Maybe 2 weeks, 1 week. Anyway.
It's been 3 weeks.
3. Wow. Anyway, I've had to hold him for a longer amount of time. Dan's going to look that up in the meantime. But I obviously see Simi Sasangi, CTW dual can just plug him up in the second row for now. And then obviously bring in Taylor May. That is my one trade I am going to be doing this week. I did toy around with Saxon Pryke. I obviously brought it up before. How many weeks is Fafita?
He's only missed 2 weeks.
Only 2. But yeah, I did toy around with Saxon Pryke, but obviously for reasons I've already given, I am not going with that. But yeah, I think I'm just going to bank the trade, hopefully, get back on track and try to either hold them for Origin or in the back end of the season. So,
how many trades does that mean you have now?
29.
Okay.
How many do you have? 30?
I'm 30.
Oh, cool. So you're one less boost than me. Yeah, okay, cool. And then what are you sitting at?
I'm going to be 28 after this week. So.
Cool. And
I think that actually lines up with our play styles perfectly.
Really?
Ben loves a trade. He froths a trade. I don't even mean that as an insult. I just feel like you
I
do
don't know, maybe.
a lot of trades.
I'm trying to be a bit more like...
I've just had to do a lot of trades because I've had a lot of players get injured.
Yeah, which is fine. And you're in a good position, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm trying to what do I say? Encapsulate my best interpretation of Tim Williams. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like Timmy's quite reserved and monk-like with his trades, so I'm trying to
I respect
just
that.
can't park it up, put the brakes on it, and just try and just hope everything will be okay.
Yeah, I like that.
So anyway, I've gotten rid of some people I have to, and then Taylor May's coming in.
Captains.
Anyway, captains, Herbie Farnworth, can't look past that bloke. And then currently I've got the C on Cleary, but who else was I looking at? I was looking at a cheeky trail, but I just don't know if the matchup's good enough. I think Dango Guy is probably going to put his Origin jersey underneath his Newcastle one. I don't know. You can't really tell when he's going to do it, but he is a good defender. I don't know. Could I look to a JC? That feels a bit rogue. Too early in the week.
The Raiders.
Yeah,
the Raiders are bad.
Yeah.
I'd look at it, honestly.
But then I'd probably be looking at, I think they play before, correct?
Yeah.
Little spoiler for the captain's corner that I'm going to talk about. Last 2 games for the Raiders against right-sided halves. Adam Dewey got 113 and Jerome Hughes got 97. So the right-sided halves have been cooking. I think you'd want a VC though. I don't think you could straight captain Jaden Campbell.
You can, can't you? You just have to captain.
I'm just saying
Herbie?
that he can't do.
Would you ever straight see Herbie if...
I'd absolutely straight to Herbie.
No, but Herbie plays before.
Oh, Herbie plays before.
Herbie plays Friday night, so you kind of have to VC him. Imagine he's put the straight C on Jaden Campbell. That'll be interesting. That'll be.
You know what? I'm gonna take a leaf out of Rugby League Guru's book and just
send it.
Wow, he's encapsulating Tim and Guru.
Completely different play styles.
Completely different in the same session. Yeah.
Anyway, so I've switched onto Jaden Campbell for captain there.
What do you reckon are the odds, Ben, that he sticks with that? I reckon it's
100%.
3%.
100%.
He's going to get shown by the bright lights of Nathan Cleary, I reckon.
Yeah.
I've been wrong before. I kind of hope you captain him because that'll be scenes.
When did? Oh, sorry, you probably just said it. Yeah.
Huh? It's worked for you in the past. You captain JC, you got the best score out of all of our captains.
True.
Against
Parramatta.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You might have just said before, when do the Raiders play?
It's Saturday 3 p.m. So
Saturday 3 p.m.
It's a good slot. I don't know if it's on the Gold Coast.
I'm not going to be able to watch it.
It is. Oh, it is on the Gold Coast.
They're raps.
I really want to watch it.
I don't hate it. Anyways, you'll continue to ponder that.
Yeah.
Moving on. Money moves this week. It's time. It's time to unleash the wallet that I've been saving up for the last couple of weeks. 3 people that I need to go. So Moses Leo I've still had because I just haven't had a trade. Obviously, Taylor May presenting himself as a great centre wing to go to this week. So wheels up there. David Fafita and Noah Martin out. And the talking point of the week, Lasardi obviously comes in, and I'm going early on Kalen Ponga. 33 break even.
Wow.
I don't think they're going to rush him back. So I think he's got to be ready to go if they're putting him in the side. They have plenty of coverage in the positions. So it's not like they need him back desperately. And I think just the huge ins for the Knights this week, they could absolutely turn around their season from this point on injury-free. They played really, really good, and then all of a sudden they lost Best, they lost Marjorie, they lost Ponga, they lost Sharp, and they just fell apart. But they could easily get back to that form from the first couple of weeks. Like, we forget how good they were going. Think about first game of the season against the Cowboys, was it, in Vegas, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not think they would win that game, even the slightest, and they pulled out a great performance. So I'm hoping to see a bit of old school Kalen Ponga back. And I think being a fullback, there's a little less risk for re-injury compared to some other high-risk positions like your second row, your middles. So yeah, I'm taking him nice and early. I think it's a decent matchup against South Sydney. I think there'll be points in the game. And yeah, looking forward to being an owner. And you know what? If he scores big, everyone's going to be bringing him in next week. So I'm just getting a head start.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think Ponga's hot. Newcastle do have those buys in 12-15. But Ponga might be on the bench for Origin anyway, so it might just be like no difference.
Yep.
I think you're right that this is probably the cheapest he'll be. I think it's a pretty ballsy punch, but I don't hate it at all.
Yeah, it's all I could kind of afford with the money that I had.
Well, you can afford your boy Dufty, who you said to captaincy option. So
we'll see. I'll send you a screenshot of his Supercoach score when he gets 100.
Yeah, sure, man.
And then captains for this week. I've gone VC Herbie, Captain Latrell. So yeah,
wow.
I think one of them is guaranteed a massive score. So who it is? And obviously I have some players who might be able to drop out, i.e. Lasardi. So yeah.
Well, Lasardi plays against Herbie.
Yeah. So I could always take the AE though.
But I mean, if
yeah, I know what you're saying. I won't know, but I could just preempt it and then just take an AE if I want.
But I'm saying you can't logistically looping Herbie if you've selected.
No, but you can pre-do it, and then you could just leave it.
You do what I did last week with the Atkinson thing,
right? But then you're 100% giving yourself an AE.
Yeah.
Well, that feels like surely there's got to be a better way for you to do it than that.
I mean, my team is incredibly strong this week.
How would I loop?
There's got to be a better way for you to do it than that. Are you playing Fire Marnie this week?
Yeah, I could do that.
Right. Okay. There we go. Okay.
All right.
Chaos averted.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I do also only have two. I'm not playing Fire Money. Apologies. I do only have two non-playing players other than Lasardi.
There's got to be a better way.
Sanders, Faimani.
Yeah, just don't play Sanders. Oh, you're not playing Sanders either.
I'm not playing either of them. So I could always do it and just take the lowest score out of Sanders, Faimani, and
I don't see any
Lasardi.
Logical reason to 100% take an AE if there's a way you can avoid it.
Well, I just can't. I'll show you later. But yeah,
we'll look at it later. But I reckon they will.
Anyway, moving on to the consensus team as well.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked to you about these. We're going to kind of pitch these to you live.
Let's do it. Pitch it.
Yeah.
Now I've got to remember. Jaden Sewer out, and
we have Jaden Sewer still,
and Noah Martin out.
Yeah.
Moves Sungi up. Yeah. We get Taylor May, and then Lasardi. No.
We did Lasardi, and then we realized we were looking at Taylor May, but then we realized we had a lot of money in the bank, and we thought we don't have Herbie.
Oh yes, at flex.
So the pitch we have to you is we go.
Do we boost?
No.
I was more. That's also our last boost on the consensus if we were to do it.
So we're going Lasardi-less.
No. You'd go. Sorry, maybe we didn't explain it well. You go Sewer and Martin to Lasardi and Herbie
instead of Taylor May.
Well,
you just wait a week on Taylor May.
That's not just. Yeah.
I understand.
I don't hate it.
I like Taylor, but I'm looking at Herbie, particularly that matchup against Meaney. His break even 70, but I'm if he gets 120, it's going to cost almost 900k.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't hate it.
And as we said, you kind of need him for that buy period.
Yeah.
Let's have is there an interesting way we could boost and bring in May as well? Because I don't hate it. As I've said this for weeks. I think
this is our last boost.
Boost's overrated. You get 3 trades in all those major bye weeks anyway. So
yeah, the only
essentially
one
gets a boost any
the
of
only
those
one
weeks.
it'll hurt you for is if there's a massive week of injuries. That's the only time it'll hurt you.
I think it's right.
Is
Is there an easy player we could go one trade, bring him Taylor May?
Well, we'd have to go a centre wing then, right?
How much cash is in the bank?
I don't know. It's not a lot. No, we're pretty much flush, so 20k, I think.
Yeah, upon reflection, it does not seem like we'll be able to get Taylor May this week. So are we happy with Herbie? I think that's good.
Cool.
Sure.
Lovely.
And then
Captain's on there? Maybe go VC, Herbie, Captain, Cleary, I guess, to be safe. We got time to think about that captain, though. I think VC Herbie feels slam dunk to me.
Yeah, feels good.
And then we'll have a look. I don't hate Tedesco against the Broncos, to be honest.
I don't love it.
And then there's... Oh, no, you can't go Sewer. Maybe it's just between Latrell and Cleary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. We'll worry about that later.
Awesome.
All right.
Tips quickly.
All
right. First game, Bulldogs at home to the Cowboys at a core. Yeah.
Cows 1-12.
Bulldogs 1-12.
Cowboys 13+.
Whoa.
Next game, Dolphins at Suncorp against the Storm.
Storm 1-12.
Finns 13+.
I'll go Finns 1-12. Titans at Seabus against the Raiders.
Titans 1-12.
Titans 13+.
I'm going to go Raiders 1-12. I reckon Raiders will get it done. Sutherland Ricky at Seabus is scary.
Okay.
Eels at Combank against the Warriors.
Was 13+.
Was 13+.
Was 13+. Roosters at Alliance against the Broncos.
Broncos 1-12.
Broncos 1-12.
Broncos 13+.
Nice.
Knights at McDonald Jones against Rabbitohs.
Knights 13+.
Wow. Knights.
I think it's a shock result.
I don't hate it. Yeah, Knights 13+. I'll jump with you.
I like it.
I'll go Knights 1-12. I do think they'll win, but I don't know.
Dufty's got to get 100 and they don't lose.
Yep, he will. Sharks at home against the Tigers.
This is the toughest game of the round by a country mile. I've learned whatever I think's going to happen with the Sharks, I just reverse. Same with Sydney style decisions. I think that the Sharks are going to lose, so I'm going to go Sharks 1-12.
It's a solid point. Yeah. I think it'll be an
unpickable team. Like, as in you can't pick.
I'm going to say Tigers 1-12.
Go on Sharks 13+. I think there's enough weakness in the Tigers with Tristan Hope, with Tony Sukar.
This is going to be a great game.
Sunil Taruva at fullback. I think there's enough weakness.
Yeah.
And then finally, Panthers at Combank against the Sea Eagles.
Penrith 13+. Manly are finally exposed that they've just burst easy teams.
Penrith 1-12. I think. No, who am I kidding? Penrith 13+.
Yeah, Penrith 13+ as
Who
well.
am I kidding?
Who did the Manly beat? They beat the Dolphins. They beat Parramatta last week.
St. George.
They beat the Dragons and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's like
Fuzzball there, right?
I'm not wowed.
Fuzzball.
But if they do beat the Panthers, is there a bit
Giddy up,
ticker about
Fuzzball.
them?
Fuzzball, mate.
Sweet.
If they beat them, give them the job. Fantastic. That's us done for another week, guys. May your arrows be green.
Stolen my line.
Oh, yeah, your line. Best of luck with your trades. Make sure you plan out your origin period well. And, yeah, see you guys next week.
See you then.